Tuesday delight. Okay. I got me the Prince of the Blue Blood, and he's wearing a touch of blue today, though. So that's Prince Francis Chilaka. Good evening, and thank you so much for always obliging us.
Welcome.
Thank you. So the fuel queues are back again. It is horrible.
Exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, every Nigerian right now is exhausted. You're either fighting poverty, you're fighting hunger, or you're fighting queue. So, you just waste a lot of manpower looking for petrol. The same petrol that people claim to be paying just amount of money as subsidy. So I don't really understand. The filling station, some are selling for 815, some are selling for 900, some are selling for 950. Even at these high prices, the product is not available to Nigerians. So you wake up in the morning, heading your way to work, you want to branch and get your fuel, 2-3 hours, 4 hours down the line, you're still on the queue.
So what is really going on with this fuel scarcity? Because there's a lot. I mentioned once upon a time that I was asking a particular, filling station manager about why this fuel scarcity is persisting. And they are saying that it looks like the NNPC is mandating people to buy from them. Or all marketers. It's not quite clear what he explained to me then, because I forgot to put him on record. But going by this particular interview, there's an interview by the Cable News as they spoke to Abubakar Shitima, who's the president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. He said the NNPC has the role of supplying petrol to marketers. Now, we independent marketers, quoting him, we normally purchase this product through the NNPC. If they discharge the product, we will buy and carry it to our filling station, so he said. So it's looking like the NNPC is not doing same. So they're blaming inadequate supply or from NNPC as the reason why they don't have. So, but NNPC on its own hasn't come to tell us why they don't have adequate supply. What is going on?
NNPC spent, I think, the whole of last week and this week seeking presidential approval to use funds for subsidy, which we don't even know whether it is subsidy or what. But I think the bottom line is that this scarcity is leading to one end, and that is increase in the price of pump price, in the pump price
of fuel.
So I think that is what it's all about, because I don't understand why at 815 naira, at 850 naira, at 900 naira, the product is still not available. When are we going to break the monopoly of having NNPCL being the sole importer of petroleum products? When? So this is the issue. You can't have one organization, monopolizing everything and giving us no result, because there's no result, and there's no how do I put? There's no result. There's no God, it's painful.
Okay, so but we did hear today that the federal government's committee, which was set up to ensure the implementation of crude oil sales to local refineries in Nigeria, has reached an agreement with the Dangote Petroleum Refinery to roll out premium motor spirit from September this year. So that means there is hope that Dangote will start rolling out.
Don't also forget
this September.
They're still telling us that they will start supplying crude oil to Dangote in October.
But even that one that they said, though, now there's a U-turn to that conversation, as oil producers under the issues of the Independent Petroleum Producers Group, they have warned against being forced to sell. They said that are being forced to sell crude oil to Dangote and other local ones in Nigeria. That is to say that they are saying that we no go sell to Dangote. So if they don't sell to that, first of all, do they have the right to say that? And if they do have the right to say that, what is the implication of all of this back and forth?
Well, the implication of the back and forth is that Malta still seems to be the final destination. There are people benefiting from whatever is going on in Malta, which even though they don't want us to know the entire truth. Because I believe that if we had a country that was working by now, the National Assembly would have done a thorough investigation and gotten back to the Nigerian people. The
same National Assembly that we heard that tried to investigate Dangote's issue that were meddled with corruption, bribery issues, and they were disbanded.
The National Assembly from day one has been riddled in corruption. So it's not a new thing, but at least we need to know. We have a right to know as the Nigerian people. We can't have this is a country where we have oil, we have crude oil, and yet we don't have a functional refinery. And suddenly everybody's talking about Dangote. Dangote is a private business. When did a private business become a government business?
Okay, that's a question I can't answer. But as it is right now, since the oil marketers are saying that oil producers are saying they will not sell to Dangote or any other local
to stop. So this whole back and forth with Dangote refinery simply shows that there are people who do not want that refinery to succeed, just as the Nigerian refineries are not succeeding.
All right, Lagos, welcome to the Evening Rush 90.3 Voice of the People FM. Well, this is just a preamble to the show because we're getting started just about now, right? Stay with us. On a hot topic this evening, Lagos, let's bring you those hot topics. And the hot topic you will be hearing, story about the possibility or the possible involvement of the president's son, Seyi Tinubu, Chagoury, as they awarded, involved in the award of the 13 billion Lagos-Calabar highway project. And yeah, because of a co-ownership of a company. We'll give you details of that conversation. And still on the hot topic, you get to hear how Tinubu's ministers' aides shared 54 billion naira from 120 billion naira forfeited by Emefiele's accomplices in money laundering cases. That is, somebody forfeit money, 140 billion, then other people share over 54 billion inside the money. Okay, this is according to the reports on that conversation. I will let you in on that. Moving on, Kogi has said, produce yourself for arraignment. Appeal court orders Yahaya Bello concerning the Kogi fraud or Kogi defraudment of the people of Kogi State.
Talking about invitation from police and court arraignments, NS is saying that they are going to begin an indefinite strike today if anything happens to the president, Joe Ajaero. Yeah, so he was invited.
Please, let's leave this NLC people. Let them go and sit down somewhere. When the Nigerian people wanted them to support their actions, when the Nigerian people said we are hungry, we go to bed empty hunger, and we ask them to come out and support. They refused. So why would one person become the reason why they will go on protest or go on strike? I mean, labor should go and sort themselves out. If Ajaero has a case to answer, let him go and answer the case. If the government is saying he has a case to answer, he's like any other Nigerian, except he wants to play the role of Yahaya Bello, who has been hiding himself.
His lawyer, who is representing him in the name of Femi Falana, has said that has written to the IGP and asking them to give them the details of whatever offense he committed and the proof of the alleged terrorism financing.
Promise, how many Nigerians today get invitation from the police and will be asking for such? Why are we always shifting the goalposts in this country? The way you're seated now, if the police comes for you,
we're still really the hot topic.
If the police,
it looks like
if the police comes for you right now, they will not ask you who you are. They will not even have you write a letter to them.
All right.
So I think that this whole idea of having two different laws in this country needs to stop. If the police invites you, go and answer the police. Right. If you don't have a case to answer, you do not have a case to answer.
All right.
So what is he afraid of?
All right. So moving on with the hot topic, oil market. So let's
okay, and this is about Dangote's refinery. Tinubu panel, Dangote refinery agree on September petrol rollout. I thought they said it was October.
We're just talking about that. No. Petrol rollout. October is for Naira, the crude sale.
Where is the crude oil? Have they given him crude oil to be able to get petrol?
Not yet. We'll get to that. And just again, the federal government raises 10-member committee to enforce Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. Federal government raises Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. And that's about it. And we also did tell you that oil producers reject mandate to sell crude oil to local refineries. Because these are the hot topics that we have. Let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll begin to dissect these and other issues after the break. This is Evening Rush 90.3, Voice of the People FM. You're welcome. Evening Rush with Pressures. Featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters arising on Hot Topic Part.
What was the rate of inflation? And then what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations.
Doesn't mean we cannot join any party or not. Then who will join the one that will think
critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP, it's not an oil-dominated.
To agree.
Like what's going on here? You caught that case, right?
I saw that. On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3. Voice of the People FM. Lagos.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
this particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a soul for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and pressure for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
The Evening Rush with Pressures, featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters rising on Hot Topic Pali.
What was the rate of inflation? And Demi, what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations,
Doesn't mean he's about to join any party or not. Then who will join the one that will bring about
critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree
When we say our GDP, it's not an oil-dominated.
to agree.
Like
what's going on here?
you cut back against, right?
I saw that. On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3. Voice of the People FM. Lagos. Now you have a voice. Rush with Pressures. Let me bring you a reminder of hot topical conversations of the day.
Even state investors. As what you're saying, you've not funded those on ground.
Critical analysis of hot and trending topics on Hot Topics.
That's enough for a responsible government to take appropriate action.
Politics.
If every president, every governor, every minister, every commissioner took his job seriously, this country would not be where it is.
Economy.
We're not growing in terms of what's happening with the economy.
Lifestyle. Human angle.
Put the government on notice.
And sometimes the unusual. Evening Rush with Precious. Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3. Voice of the People FM. Lagos. Lagos, you are welcome back. It is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So let's get started. This expose, I've seen in Premium Times and every other newspaper. So the story is a long one. So we hear, according to this report, that leaked documents reveal that the son of Nigeria's president co-owned an offshore company with the son of billionaire brothers, Ronald and Gilbert Chagoury. Now, the Chagoury Brothers Company, High-Tech Construction Company Limited, recently received a contract to build a 700-kilometer coastal highway in Nigeria without a public bidding process. Of course, you know how it went. And the government is now facing a legal challenge over the contract, which was announced in May in the first phase of the project, according to the report done by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project. It's a global network of investigative journalists with staff, I think, across 6 continents of the world. Yeah, across 6 continents. So the Nigerian government awarded High-Tech Construction a 13 billion contract, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, for the entire coastal highway project, with funding to be secured incrementally, meaning say the funding could rise as whether they change. So, however, the deal has sparked controversy, with the activities of the opposition politicians criticizing the lack of transparency and alleged violation of regulations due to the absence of public tender process. Now, Minister of Works David Umahi confirmed that the government is currently embroiled in a legal dispute related to the project. The entire process is before the court, he said in a text message he replied to this investigative reporting group. Now, critics have also pointed out that long-standing business ties and close friendship between the Chagoury brothers and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, raising concerns about potential favoritism. Is it because you're close to them? Now, however, Minister of Works David Umahi has denied that the president's relationship with the Chagoury brothers influenced the decision to award the contract. Remember when he said that it's not because of any relationship, it was because they are the best people to handle the project. Previously unknown, so the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway procurement followed due process, according to him. That's what he said, so that they are, that they were the ones who could handle it. Some people even claimed that, they were the ones who understood the waterways and the coastal, what did they call that river now? The lagoon and the river enough to handle it. Well, now, a previously unknown corporate connection between the younger generation, that is the son of the president, and the Chagoury son, have been revealed as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Chagoury family has been uncovered. They have uncovered such relationship. But neither Seyi Tinubu or Ronald, obliged request a response when they were reached by this investigative reporting group. Ayotunde Abiodun, an expert at SBM Intelligence, according to the report, a Nigerian risk consultancy firm, emphasized that public officials and their close family members have a responsibility to avoid conflicts of interest in order to maintain the public's trust and uphold ethical standards. So, that is to say that if you know that you're serving the public, you ought to ensure that your public, your family and everything that's got to do with them stayed away from anything that has to do with, public contracts or government contracts, so that it doesn't look like you're using your position to influence such contracts for your family, which, by the way, is another name for corruption. Right. Now, just to give you a little bit of a glimpse to this conversation. So Nigeria ranked 145th out of 180 countries in Transparency International's 2023 Corruption Perception Index, indicating a very high level of corruption in the country. The country has long struggled for laundering money on behalf of former military director Sani Abacha. Yeah, he had that. There was that documentation. Now, this investigative reporting group reports that the close relationship between the President Tinubu and the Chagoury brothers dates back at far back as 2007, when Tinubu then was the president and the governor of Lagos State. And then he awarded the Chagoury group a significant land grant of 10 million square meters of the Lagos seashore. Perhaps it may be some of the parts you could know as the Eco-Atlantic today. So, High-Tech Construction, a subsidiary of the Chagoury Group, is currently developing a Eco-Atlantic city on the 10 million square meter. The land grant awarded by former Governor Tinubu And Ronald Chagoury's junior son of billionaire Gilbert Chagoury serves as vice chairman of South Energy, the Chagoury Group subsidiary that owns that land. So, bottom line is, could it be, according to this report, that there may be an involvement of Seyi Tinubu, the president's son, and the son of the Chagoury brothers in the highway contract? If that is it, is this some sort of corruption? Or is it because, indeed, is because my father is the president and my company can do the job? Should that stop me from doing the job? Or my company is the only company that can do the job in Nigeria? Should it be a problem if my company handles such a project? So, Prince Francis Chilaka, thank you so much for joining us. I like his chiming on this.
Conflict of interest.
Wow.
That's just what it is, conflict of interest. If you're a minister and you have your family members bidding for a job in your ministry, you are automatically denying other people the opportunity. Now, looking at this whole thing, you'll agree with me that Nigeria has turned into a country where the leaders no longer care about integrity. They no longer care about patriotism. It's about what them, their family members, their cronies will get. And that is why you have the Chief Justice of the Federation about to retire, giving appointments or elevating his family members, his sons, his daughters, his in-laws, into prominent offices just to prepare for tomorrow. You also have the Minister of the FCT. The wife has been promoted. In other words, if there's a case tomorrow against him, the wife will stand in. Don't also forget that the wife of the former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili, got a perpetual injunction stopping anybody from suing the husband or dragging the husband to court. So that is what I mean by conflict of interest. Ordinarily, as a president, the first family should not be bothered or should not be seen to be bothered in who gets what contract in this country. But who cares? There's no accountability, there's no transparency, there's no good governance. So when people say Chagoury, 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 I ask myself, at what point in time did they become very close to the Tinubus? Don't forget that this same president claimed to have fought the Abacha government. It was a dictatorial government. They claimed to have fought it. So if you are fighting Abacha in one hand,
and democracy generally,
you are embracing those who were said to have helped to launder this country's wealth on the other side. So what are you up to? Is that what fighting for democracy is all about? Is that not being selfish and self-centered? So we need to ask questions and we need answers. Unfortunately, when you ask questions to those in power, they feel that, oh, you hate the president. Nobody hates this president. But we have a right to know. If you wake up tomorrow, like we all know, that we're all being told that the president Bola Tinubu fought for democracy. He wrestled democracy from the hands of the military. Why are you still dining and eating with those who worked with the military to put us in this situation that we're in today? And you're talking about 10 million square meters of land. Was it free? Was it paid for?
That is a co-Atlantic project,
was it
according to that report.
Because don't forget, if not when Dangote came out and said he paid $100 million, nobody knew
that Dangote paid.
Yes. Everybody thought that the land was given to him as part of the incentive for him to invest in the state. Why are our leaders like this? Why are they finding it difficult to be accountable to the people? Because it's unheard of. It means that a governor of a state can actually give out the land of the state and he doesn't care what happens. It brings us back to the issue of the planes that were seized, supposedly, in quote, seized in France. Now, this was a deal entered into by the government. And 2 past governors of the state have been on air saying all manner of trash as far as I'm concerned.
Blaming each other.
It's trash. You don't sign a document when you do not understand the content of that document. So how can a governor be telling the people, oh, he didn't know what he signed? You finish signing the contract, you now realize that the company you are doing the business with is incompetent. It is the level of cluelessness, the level of lack of sincerity of purpose of our leaders. These same 2 governors have not told us how much they benefited from that contract. How much of that facility came to their pockets. They have not told us that. But I know that if this case is prolonged and followed to logical conclusion, we will know how much each governor got as compensation. Right. So I feel that, it's a slap on the faces of Nigerians that the name of the president's son is being dragged into a very controversial contract. Don't also forget that when we talked about the Malta, the issue of blending of Nigerian oil in Malta, the issue of importing oil from Malta, the Tinubu's name came out. At what point will their name stop coming out? Why is there so much secrecy and so much corruption around this presidency?
So Prince Chilaka,
is that what Emiloko stands for?
I want to chip in a bit. I don't know if we've ever had it in the history of Nigeria that the son of a sitting president would be awarded a contract without bidding, a contract of such volume. I don't know if it has ever happened in the history. People can compare and contrast.
You know, the thing about this government is that there's so much lies. Recall when Nigerians started saying that we're paying subsidy, or that subsidy was not gone. The presidency came out and said there's nothing like that. Even when one of the ministers came out and said we are still paying subsidy. But now everybody has been vindicated. Now you have Umahi telling you, lying through his teeth, telling you, oh, they follow due process. What is that due process? Was there a bidding? Who bidded for it? Who sat down to open the bids? What process did they follow to award this contract? So this lies and lies and lies. That's the thing with lies. When you tell one lie today, you must find another lie to tell to cover the first one you have told. So this government, everything about this government has been lies from day one.
All right, so moving on, let's get straight to Yahaya Bello's issue. As the Court of Appeal on Tuesday, today, ordered the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to produce himself for arraignment. Now, the court also restrained Bello from taking further steps in the charge unless he is arraigned. The court further set aside the judgment delivered by the Kogi State High Court, and then Bello's whereabouts have been unknown since the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC attempted to arrest him during a raid from his residence in Abuja a few months ago. Governor Usman Ododo had scuttled attempts by the EFCC's operatives to arrest Bello for his residence in Abuja. Now, the EFCC is currently prosecuting Bello for alleged misappropriation of 80 billion naira. It was said to be the money of the Kogi State people. I have some report of the exit. By the way, you know that the courts in the Supreme Court has set aside judgment on the election, that brought him to the election of his successor. And I wanted to quickly play an excerpt of a conversation between by the SDP in the state, complaining bitterly as to why the EFCC have been, a bit lazy in arraigning Yahaya Bello. Let's take that excerpt. We'll be right back.
Yahaya Bello have reduced EFCC to nothing. They should ask the president, has he forgotten so soon all the insults that Yahaya Bello rained on him during the presidential election? What is that thing now that is making them to be shielding this man? After 8 years, he's still in the government house, and they want to tell us that they don't know where he is. But press, We are appealing to you people to direct this question to the president. Where did we go wrong in Kogi State? Why is it that Kogi State case is different from every other state? A lot of people have been killed in the course of that election. 2 police officers were killed in that election. Yet, Yahaya Bello is untouchable. If the president wants to redeem his image, he should know what to do. We know where Yahaya Bello is, and they can fish him out. The only way they can fish him out is to give the people the justice. Supreme Court is a constitutional court, and anything they do will either mar this country or make the country.
Him in Benghazi Street, he was booted out of that place by Ododo, either in his boot or in his car, or however they moved it away from there, straight to the government house with all the entourage, with police, with all his talks. Have you seen him outside anywhere since then? No. So he's in government house.
Yeah. The question is this: is Kogi State conquered? If we are conquered, then where is the face of the commander-in-chief? Are we still part of Nigeria? If we are, but for God's sake, we are calling on the commander-in-chief to call these people to order, to avoid anarchy. People are dying. Those children of the poor that you are suffering and neglecting today, trust me, when the jungle mature, they will start crying back and fighting for their rights. We know our rights, but we are following and the constitution of the land.
You know that the SDP is currently in court because they claim that they are the regional winners of that election.
Let me
the 2023 Kogi State governorship election, and that's what this got to say.
Let me quickly add this. SDP is sounding more like politically correct. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to whip up emotions. But in doing that, they should realize that whatever happened during the campaigns, whatever Yahaya Bello said to Mr. President during the campaign should not be an issue. It's not a personal matter right now. It's a purely legal matter. So let us forget whatever happened between the president during the campaigns and Yahaya Bello. The truth of the matter is that yes, the EFCC failed, in arresting him, and then when you say he was shielded by police and all of that, who controls the police? Is it not the IG? Don't also forget that the governor, who, as they claim that the governor is the chief security officer, he doesn't give instructions to the police. So there must be somebody who is giving instructions to the police or to those who helped to smuggle Yahaya Bello out from Abuja. Haven't said that. The appeal court has, asked Yahaya Bello to present himself. What will they do if he does not?
Well, the EFCC
still have kidnappers moving around freely on a daily basis and kidnapping people. So for me, I would say that it's not just for the appeal court to read out a judgment or read out some form of speech. The question is, if he does not turn up and the time given to him to, I don't hear you talk about timeline as to when he should appear. And if he does not, what happens? If Yahaya Bello was an ordinary Nigerian citizen, would we be doing this back and forth relationship? Will we be looking for him the way we are looking for gold and crude oil?
But there are also governors in the past that have been arrested without wasting time. Why is it taking so long?
We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. The federal government cannot tell me they do not know where Yahaya Bello is. That is very clear. Because don't forget, the security apparatus is controlled by the federal government. So if Yahaya Bello has been smuggled out of the country, by now we should know. Because you see, this whole thing falls back to the DSS. Because this same DSS, few weeks back, was busy telling us the names of those who they claim were behind or promoting the end bad government.
Under the President Bola Tinubu's government, a total of 3.2 trillion naira has been injected into the security sector in 1 year, but it has failed to address the end of kidnapping and killings of Nigerians. Now, in the third quarter of 2023 fiscal year, the Defense Ministry received 412 billion naira. The Police Affairs Ministry got 150 billion naira. The Office of the National Security Advisor was paid 31 billion naira, while the Interior Ministry received 64 billion naira. According to Sahara reporters, they said, this is according to Open Treasury Portal, they got information on the Open Treasury Portal of Nigerian government. A total of 657 billion naira was paid into the security in third quarter of 2023, and in the fourth quarter the Defense Ministry got 487 billion naira. The Police Affairs also received 282 billion naira. The Interior Ministry was paid 119 billion. I'm rolling out billions. Office of the National Security Advisor got 113 billion. The total sum was 1 trillion naira. And then now, review of payments made by the Nigerian government shows that between January and June half year of 2024, the sum of 1.32 trillion naira was paid to the Defense Ministry. This is according to the data from the Open Treasury Portal. Another sum of 424 billion was paid to the Federal Ministry of Police Affairs, while 222 billion was paid to the Office of the National Security Advisor. And on this amount, the total of 1.6 trillion was paid to all these bodies in 6 months. Prince Chilaka, we know what's going on with insecurity in the northern part of the country. Bandits are collecting taxes, running a parallel government. We're talking about non-state actors there. So if security keep gulping this kind of amount, what is going on? Why hasn't security being combated in the country? What is going on with the insecurity?
Is anybody being held accountable for these funds that are being released?
When
these funds are being released, are the Nigerian people carried along? Unfortunately, we have leadership for the leaders, by the leaders. That is not the definition of democracy. And that is not the definition of the kind of leadership we should or we are set to be practicing.
Governors are also not left out. Keep taking security votes every month.
Yes. What the question is, when you give out money in an organization for a particular assignment, and people in that organization are not carried along, who do you want to hold the persons accountable? Why is it that we only hear that funds have been released after the funds have been released, or after a year or 6 months and nothing has happened? Who is being held accountable? Why is it that nobody has been sacked? Why is it that nobody has been prosecuted? Why is it that nobody is being asked to say, you have got this amount of money, what have you done with it? We hear daily the military men who fight the Boko Haram in the south, the northeast, complaining of not being taken good care of. We see the policemen complaining of their salaries not being paid. So where is all these funds going to? The funds you're giving to the National Security Advisor, what is he doing with the funds? The Ministry of Internal Affairs, or whatever it's called, that you're giving money to, what are they using it for? It simply shows that we're running a government that lacks transparency.
Also, the Ministry of Police Affairs.
Accountability. Nobody's giving account. Nobody's being held accountable. So anything goes. Who are those suffering? The ordinary Nigerian people. It's like government saying, government have been making so much noise over the last few weeks or so that they are distributing fertilizer. Good. It's a good thing to distribute fertilizer. But where are these farmers going to use it? The same farmers that can't access their farms, you're giving them fertilizer. Are they going to eat the fertilizer, or are they going to use it at their backyards? The same farmers, when it is time for those who have been able to go to the farms to plant, when it's the time for harvest, their lives are at stake. So I think that there's a lot of corruption, a lot of untruth being reeled out to Nigerians with the insecurity. You're talking of insecurity in the northeast. You also know there's insecurity in the southeast. Yeah. So Mondays, governors are saying, "Oh, come out on Mondays," but on Mondays, people come out and they're scared of their lives. Who are these unknown gunmen ravaging the entire southeast? Why have they not been arrested? Why have government not been able to stop them? We heard about students who were kidnapped along Otuporo Road in Makoti.
State.
Yes. What happened? I mean, where are our security people? Why is it that we're still depending on manual security surveillance when everybody's going AI? So what is really happening? Is it the whole thing that is happening in Nigeria is like we're just, we're surviving by the day. We're not improving in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure. We're not improving in terms of manpower. We're not improving in terms of governance. Our leaders are not even leaders. They are more of rulers. All they think about is themselves. How much of the national cake that will come to them. With all the money has been reeled out. Do you know all the money collected by governors every month as security vote? What are they using the funds for? So these are questions that they themselves must answer. But we need to understand one thing. The thing we need to understand is that leadership is about taking care of the people, protecting the lives and properties of the people. And we are not yet there. And I don't know when we'll ever get there.
All right. So let's move on to other issues.
So we'll still have securities. This is about the Minister for...
And that's about security.
Yes, Matawali. Still about security. A group of Northern Integrity and Security Forum has flagged recent remarks by former Foreign Affairs Minister and former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, calling for the removal of Minister of State for Defense, Yahaya Bello Matawali. According to the Security Forum, such a call coming amid the troubling climate surrounding the abduction of the Emir of Gobaro of Gatawa district in Sokoto State, Alhaji Isa Mohammed Barwa, and his son was not only ill-informed but alarmingly disingenuous. According to them, the forum, in a statement signed by the chairman, stated that it was crucial to affirm that while the situation in Sokoto and other parts of northern Nigeria is of utmost concern, the challenges faced are national in scale, engulfing various facets of society from urban centers to rural centers. So bottom line, they are in solidarity with the Minister of Defense.
These are nonchalant idiots.
Also remember that the Minister of Defense...
These are very, very sick people.
A terrorist leader has called him out like 3 times.
What have they said?
And nothing has happened since then.
Hold on. These same people who today are advocating, who today are defending your so-called Minister of Defense, when the terrorist leaders did a video and circulated it and said, this man is more like part of
That's Yahaya Bello.
Yes. What did they say? Did they have a mouth? You see, this is what is playing out in this country. And we need to be very, very careful with how NGOs are registered. Once a governor have an issue, they run and register an NGO and they call it
a society group, civil society
that dies with the governor when he leaves office, or that dies once that case is over. It appears that, Nigerians enjoy the fact that amongst themselves, they are supporting those who are oppressing them. If this group has integrity, if they believe in the people, in taking care of the lives and properties of the people, if they believe in the fact that they want security for the people in Sokoto particularly, why have they not spoken out since this video came out, pointing fingers at the minister? Why must they not come out to begin to defend the minister now that, some northern elders and elites are calling for the removal of the minister? Ordinarily, the minister should have stepped aside. An investigation.
You mean like step aside, like better you do?
Well, better you do. Whether she has stepped aside, we're not that kind of stepping aside. But we need to know the nitty-gritties of what is going on. You have been accused of being a sabotage, of being a saboteur. Why is the government keeping silent? Why is the presidency not doing anything about it? Don't forget that this same man is from Zamfara State. The hotbed of what? Kidnapping, insurgents, terrorism. So why is everybody...
At some point, he couldn't visit his state anyway.
It doesn't still go to his state. It doesn't go to his state. So this whole thing, you see, it's unfortunate. I don't know why the Nigerian people have become what they have become. I don't know why people allow themselves to be used by the political class to achieve their own gains, because it's all about them. If, as a minister, you are being accused abroad, you will step aside. You will resign. You don't even step aside. You resign to allow an independent investigation to be carried out. But in Nigeria, nobody resigns. When you even resign, it's a taboo. The day you resign from government, even the retirement people retire is also a taboo. People believe that you should die there. This spirit of it is my turn, it is our turn, it needs to end. Nigeria is not up for grabs. Nigeria is for the Nigerian people. And our leaders need to learn very fast. We keep saying it, they need to learn very fast that sovereignty belongs to the people.
All right, let's move on to some issues about local government autonomy now. The federal government has set up a 10-member committee to enforce the Supreme Court judgment delivered on 11th of July 2024. Ministry of Finance, Chairman, Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, representative of state governors and representatives of local government. Prince Chilaka, why are governors not conducting local government election? They seem kind of somehow still have the strongholds in local government allocation. What is going on?
Well, for me, I would say that the local government allocation is money they use for parties.
Okay.
They used to entertain their side chicks and all.
So why can't they just?
But let us get to the nitty-gritties. The Supreme Court has made a pronouncement. The question is, who is responsible for conducting the election of the local government?
Right now, yes. The state electoral.
If the state governors are responsible for that, what kind of autonomy are you expecting?
The National Assembly has also, it has passed first reading of introducing the local government electoral commission. Hopefully, I don't know how fast.
So why don't we wait? The fact that you waged a war with your Obasanjo administration and you created LCDAs. Why don't you return the LCDAs and have the normal local governments in Lagos? Are the LCDAs going to be autonomous as well? So these are questions that only the president can answer. So if tomorrow the other governors decide to create LCDAs, what will happen?
So what is so important in this local government allocation?
What is important in it is that the funds
to control.
Is that the funds that two things are involved. One is the fund. Second is the fact that the governors, the sitting governors, use the local government as their instrument for rigging elections.
Oh, it's about the election.
It's about the election. It's not about the development of the
grassroots development.
No. It's about the elections. And I strongly believe that this autonomy being pursued by this administration is geared towards 2027 elections.
How do you mean?
They want to take control.
The governors, you mean?
No.
The federal government?
The federal government wants to take control.
How would they do that?
That's what they will do.
Okay, by creating
he who pays
the
the piper,
government electoral commission.
Pays the fruit, he takes the pipe. So what is going to play out at the end of the day is that the federal government would say, good, we have given you autonomy. You'll be accountable to us.
And you think the governors are foreseeing this?
I think the whole thing is that the presidency wants to use the local government to checkmate the governors in the 2027.
So who checkmates the presidency?
That's the point. Those who are meant to checkmate the presidency
have
also turned to become departments of the
judiciary there. There are different
the judiciary and the
government.
legislature have become a department of the executive.
Not an arm of government.
Have you seen them speak like an arm of the government? Didn't you see your Senate president trying to read out the cost of the plane and the jet they bought for Mr. President? When he was trying to read out the price didn't you see how he was mumbling? Tell me one thing that this presidency has done that the Senate has opposed. Mention one. None. Don't forget that the House of Rep told the is it the discos or what? The electricity companies to revert back to throw away bandwagon and band A and band B. Have they done that? This same House of Rep had a judgment against DSTV? Has it been implemented? But they are busy running around talking about, price control. How can you be talking of price control when you have no option for the people?
You spoke about the presidential jet. With Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians are saying that they still don't know where that money came from. That money wasn't part of the budget. People do not know where the money for the presidential jet, the $100 million, that is 150 billion naira, came from. Anyway,
Ononuga will be able to explain to us where the money came from.
All right, so Lagos, let's quickly run you through the hot topics that we've had this evening as we just go straight to the phone lines. Phone lines will be opened shortly. In case you're just joining us, on the hot topic this evening, a scoop of how Seyi Tinubu's son, and the son of his Lebanese tycoon friend, awarded 13 billion Lagos-Calabar highway project. Ronald Chagoury owned company.
All of that. But you see, this is what happens when you betray the people. The Nigerian people feel betrayed by Labour. So whatever comes out of it, let Labour go and sort themselves out. They're all in the same shoes.
Okay. And oil producers reject mandate to sell crude to local refineries. And this says Tinubu's ministers aides. Okay, I think we've mentioned this.
Okay, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
No. Can we let that lie?
Please, no. I'm coming.
Let it lie.
You can't let it lie. You cannot let it lie because it's yes, even if it's not confirmed, it's a news item. That money that was recovered. This is not the first time we're hearing that monies recovered are unaccounted for. All the monies that were recovered under Buhari's administration has EFCC come to give account to Nigerians. Where are those funds? Those funds are available. Government has no reason to start going and borrowing. So something is wrong somewhere. If funds are recovered, into what account are they paid into? Who takes responsibility to ensure that those monies are paid into the designated account? So EFCC is not just about running after people, running after Yahoo boys, seizing properties. You need to be accountable to Nigerians.
All right. Transparency and accountability. Yeah. And then this says Tinubu's government spends 3.2 trillion naira in 1 year on security sector as kidnapping, killings of Nigerians worsened. And you have a story of Yahaya Bello Kogi, produce yourself for arraignment, appeal court orders Yahaya Bello. I think this is about the stories and we have today.
Yes, but very quickly also, who said that oil producers reject mandate to sell crude oil. Yeah, Lagos, so these are the hot topics. Let's quickly open it on phone lines. Phone lines are now open for you to jump in on the conversation. The phone number to call for direct call is 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp line is 0817 175 6338. 0817 175 6338. These are the numbers to call us with. All right. Hello, good evening to you. Hello, good evening. Are you there? Good evening. Hello. All right, please do wait to call us back if you can hear us, okay? All right. Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Ladies in the house.
Sir?
And good evening.
Gentleman on phone. Austin, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Austin.
My greeting to
you.
Please, I want to say something.
Okay.
Since this government of APC cannot take the list of UAE sponsor of Boko Haram in Nigeria to track them, to call them to book, to block their account, to prosecute them, and arresting the terrorists and resetting them. Instead of those terrorists using them to get more info on how to cope or the menace of the terrorists and bandits, they are leaving them to go scot-free. Insecurity cannot stop in this country. So far, APC is concerned because they are into it and they know our.
No, you cannot make that blanket statement and accusation, Oga, not on public radio.
Okay, what of a minister that okay, I apologize. What of the minister that bandit identified as one of their members.
He has
what have they
now.
done is it?
But it's just that the presidency itself has not responded. It's yet to
why he never talked something concerning that?
And that is why we're talking now, so that maybe the presidency will also react to it, because we're waiting for them to react.
He cannot talk anything. That he can never say anything there. I know the country we belong. We are Nigeria. We know our problem, and we don't want to tackle our problem. God will bless everybody. God will pay everybody according to his work, whether good or bad. God will pay us in this Nigeria. God bless you, man.
Should we say amen?
You know where I'm laughing?
Amen.
He just spoke like the vice president, Shetima, saying he knows the soul of the president. So this man is speaking as he knows the soul of Nigerians.
And how do you react? All right. Hello. Good evening to you. Good evening. Okay. So what is going on now? Good evening. Are you there? Good evening. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Good evening. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir. What is your name, sir?
Yeah. I'm Mr. Steve. I'm calling from...
You're Mr. What?
Please, one custom officer told me something some time ago. He told me that the problem of Nigeria is better for those who doesn't know. Because if else you know, you will not be happy again. So, I see that what is going on in Nigeria, as you analyze it as you people, because it makes people to become more bitter.
Sorry.
Because it's better for those who doesn't know. When we don't know, we live even happier. Because when we begin to know now, it makes somebody to be very bitter. So that is what I just want to let people know.
Sorry, but you know that our work is to bring news now.
That we don't know. Because all the things we are hearing, we begin to wonder, is it in this planet Earth that this kind of thing will be happening? And people will be dying every day. I went to orthopedic hospital last week. In fact, what is going on in Nigeria is better for us that don't know, because as we begin to know, as all these things, we are very, very unhappy.
But you went to orthopedic hospital and you are not telling us how happy you are or how unhappy you are. You've gone to learn something from there. So it's our duty to also inform Nigerians.
I wasn't happy at all because it's better. Because when we are calling all this money and we have Minister of Health, Minister of this, Minister of that. Please, may God bless Nigeria.
God bless you too. Thank you so much for calling us. All right, phone lines are still open. Lagos 0700-903-903 903 0817-175-6338. Hello, good evening. Good evening.
My sister, God bless you.
My brother, God bless you too. Welcome.
I greet Prince Chilaka.
He can hear you.
Thank you. You see, this money that you people have shared, they shared to Minister of this. Have shared the money now. That's the people that they are the Nigerians. The Home Office are slaves under them now. They have shared the money. They only control lamenting from the January to December.
Do you want to do some messages quickly? Or should the council monitors. Yes. Hello, good evening. No, now. Help me quench it now, brother. Can you turn up the volume of your radio set, please, sir?
Good evening. Sorry.
Welcome. Can you go ahead? Go ahead. What's your name, sir?
My friends, good evening. My name is Marshall. I'm coming from Keja.
Marshall, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is I just feel like the government are intentionally not ready to do anything about the problem of Nigeria. And I'll tell you where the money came from that they used to buy the jet. It came from that, when they went to borrow the money from World Bank. Because you can't tell me that Nigeria is going through all these things and you are spending money anyhow. If you feel our pain, there is a way you will sympathize. How do you sympathize and empathize? You take some drastic measures. You cut down costs in order for you to solve some problem. Now, The issue of insecurity is also something that I feel like they know what to do about it, but they are somehow not ready to solve the problem because they know what to do and they are not just intentional about it. May God help us.
Thank you. God help you too. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, pretty precious.
Sir, you're welcome.
And my pretty promise.
You're welcome, sir.
And my ever white Prince Chilaka.
He can hear you.
You're welcome.
That is Chigozie calling from Ichigu.
Welcome, go ahead.
You're welcome, Chigozie.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, everything about this, our present government is just giving people headache. Just like the previous man said, you better not know it than to know it. And honestly, Seyi, one senator that said, it's not about if you steal 1 million, it's not enough to jail somebody. But if the person steals up to 3 trillion, you see how everything is just going haywire in this nation presently. So you finally help us because you don't know where to hold on to again. The judiciary, nowhere is to be anchored on. And so, pretty precious. Una they even try, they try.
Thank you for acknowledging
and
it.
I never hear from Remy from Akoka for a long time.
Remy, where are you? Oh, please. I hope you're fine.
You should call. Good evening, man.
Remy, I hope you're fine. Oh, come and tell us that you're fine. Thank you so much. He would call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
This is Damilola calling from Shomolu. Good evening,
Damilola,
Precious.
you're welcome. Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Prince Chilaka. And good evening, Promise.
Good evening.
All right. So, my quota, my contribution is very simple as usual. Regarding the government being unwilling to, I wouldn't really say it as them being unwilling to hear the plight of the people or do our biddings. It's quite simple. It's what they have done over the years, that is weaponizing poverty and using it as a means to strategize their campaign. So if they actually get to fix things, if they actually get to make things work, then on what templates do they make these election campaigns and do every other stuff they do? So that is the only basis which I feel they have seen good enough for them to suppress the people and make them feel more important and put them in that poor position to always want to show themselves as a celeb, which they think they are, coming to the aid of the people and doing what they do best. So that's just what I think. I don't think anytime soon they are going to solve the problems of the people, because that is the only template they can write down every 4 years to showcase themselves and say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fix your road, I'm going to do that. So that's just my little take. Thank you.
Thank you, Damilola. I appreciate you. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Yes, my name is Shola.
Shola, where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Egbeda. So how are you doing today, Precious?
We're very well, thank you. We're super. How about you?
Yeah, Prince Chilaka, I greet you. Yeah, I'm good. You know, just like the previous caller said, that we should just try to be happy. You know, let's not dwell on what's going on in Nigeria. So, but you know, let me choke mouth quickly.
Choke mouth, sharp. Make it for no loss, Abi.
Abi, make it for no loss, too. Is it not in this country? Yes, we are talking about all the impunity and all. Is it not in this country where even a former senator, a former lawmaker, so this same Kogi, he is always on the social media. You see the fleet of luxurious cars, exotic cars. He just like he acts like a musician. He acts like, you know, all these youthful musicians. You see him with gold. I know you know who I'm talking about, and he has followers. He has youth that are talking about Thank you very much. So these are the kind of leaders we have. And we have the youth that take such people as role models. Just to let you know how morally bankrupt Nigeria is. You understand? So it's like it's a mental thing. To the extent that Nigerians have this mentality that once you get an office, you have to go and do Thanksgiving. Once you get an office, it's time for you to eat your own. You know why am I bringing all these things? To let you know how deep the problem of Nigeria is. And the solution, because whenever I talk, I like to provide solution. The solution is that we need a leadership that will lead by example, which we don't have. Leading by example, a leader that will be disciplined, a leader that will come and make sure that those that are reaping the country, that are behind the country by the jugular, that will make sure that these people are being held to book. Look at the shielding here and there, shielding people. Look at the ministers we have, the people that are at the ends of affairs, having a package of allegations on them. I will say we have, and we have once a hope, renewed hope. See, we are deceiving ourselves, until we tell ourselves there's no God that will help us. You understand? We have to stand up and discipline ourselves first. Come together and tackle the common enemy. Don't let me lose my cool. It is well. God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. We need to come together, but we have been so divided and bastardized along ethnic and religious lines. And until then people begin to think in the direction of getting themselves out of this situation, things will continue. It's like somebody, when they say you have to come to church for deliverance, nobody will carry you from your house. You have to walk to that church. And until Nigerians begin to realize that it is time for them to do the right thing, not when it comes to election. They'll give you 5,000, give you one denica of rice, give you 10 tomatoes, or they come and sleep on the street with you, or sleep in the hospital with you, and you will vote them in. Nigerians must wake up and begin to vote people with integrity, people with honor, people with self-respect and self-discipline.
Right.
That is the only way we can get out of this.
All right, thank you. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Sir?
Pray.
Help. Obiani.
The double peace. Are you going to contest for election?
Obi Daddy. No, Obi Daddy.
Obi die. No, not Obi Daddy. Obi die.
Obi die. You're welcome. Good evening.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well.
I agree to.
I did the way the economy keep me now.
No, don't worry. I will come on office one of these days.
I bet just come. We would like to see you. Welcome. Go ahead.
Prince Tilak, I want to remove Prince in his name this night. He has been Prince all these days. I want to remove Prince. Two wrongs can never make a right. He's still investing, lampooning, NAC. We are not in agreement with them. They have been doing things wrongly. But this issue here, now two wrongs cannot make a right. Because this issue of treasonable felon. My wife is here. She asked for money today for market. I didn't give her.
I not go believe that thing. If you not give her a stone, and I go chop.
She there here now.
I not believe you, sweetheart, madam. Our own madam. Madam, ain't no fit. Na initial gra.
I won't give her divorce.
Don't worry, the initial gra. You go hold him. You know where you go hold him later. No worry.
Let me not waste people's time.
Go ahead.
Let me not waste. You see, I think in this country, this treason they are using it loosely. Look at the MFL, treasonable felon. Everybody is that at the end of the day, nothing will be found.
You mean a new grammar where we learn be that?
That is the new. We should not allow this. Even if the NSC people are making mistakes, we should not join the government doing that. Okay, now look at this Bobrisky. They spread money. ESC is arrested. But look at Ganduje, Aerofire. They said they have not seen petition. Different laws for different people. Ganduje was on everywhere, social media. They said nobody wrote petition to the Aerofire. Everything has been. They said, please, Nigeria journalists, you people should continue to try. I know VOP is the best station. Yes. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Obi. I appreciate you. Hello, good evening to you. Hello, are you there? Be like when I go release album for my head, Seth. You're welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome, sir.
the main prince himself.
I remain loyal.
I beg, remind us your name, brotherly.
This is Kelechi from Oshedi.
Kelechi, you're welcome. All right, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Gracious, I just want to have you. This night.
Now the only thing we carry you. Not only you waka come like this. You just waka come to have me go back.
I only me waka come.
I received the. Eh? Sir.
If this government say we know who go rule, you know I'm not.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know anything, no. I don't know. I don't talk anything, no vex. Not before my radio, you go talk. I'm gonna make a quench mic. Eh?
Now your brother. If he fail, now your brother with the vote.
Thank you. Bye. Take care. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hello, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yes, please. Welcome.
Yeah. I greet your guest in the studio and promise.
Good evening.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Remind us your name, please, and where you're calling from.
My name is Emeka. I'm actually a first-time caller.
Oh, congratulations. Give a bell now.
Welcome to the show.
I would have just sang for you, small thing, but I lost my voice in my last singing competition.
Well, you're a terrible singer.
It's not a problem. No worries. Save it for the next first-time caller.
Okay,
now, straight to the point.
Go ahead.
Straight to the point. We've got a lot of problems bothering our nation. From the grassroots up to the leadership.
Okay.
We've been so divided by these politicians. I can't at least I'm no longer a small boy. At least I've gotten to the fourth floor of my life. I'm in the first floor of my life and heading to the middle of my 40s. Now, during the military regime, we were not so divided religiously as we are in this political dispensation, the democratic dispensation.
I agree.
Then what we see here is the tribal fight we used to hear was back then in the north. It's usually in the north. And then sometime in 94, 95, Aguilera, once in a while. But now the politicians have used, especially the youth, to disintegrate everybody in the country. Now, I'm happy that Nigerians have realized. But the problem we now have is come together. Now you find out that if we want to come together, the government of the day would go and recruit miscreants who have always been loyal to them and give them paltry sums. And that is the definition of it. That's the proper definition of poverty.
But you know that all these are still allegations, so it's not confirmed that government is involved in any of those things.
Well, there are allegations until when will you catch them? The law says that everybody is a suspect until proven guilty. And who is going to prove them guilty? Is it the judiciary that has their salary just got their salary upgraded by 300%? I heard it in this radio station. So
it's not the radio station that manufactures the news, though. It is the newsmakers that make the news. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I get it. It was right. It was the correct news. Nobody has debunked that claim. So what we are saying now is let's rise up. Another problem we have is that our youth are not really doing anything legitimate. Not all of them. A large number of our youth are not doing anything legitimate. They'll go to this one, press button, get millions, money no get value again where them day. And that is why those people cannot rise up and say, let's go and fight these people. How many they won't kill? Because they will always use the forces to fight against us. And the problem is that we've got a lot of military friends. I have classmates who are in the military. I was passing sometime last 2 weeks during that protest. I was passing. I heard a military man saying, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. It affects us, but there's nothing we can do." I was just passing by. He said, "There's nothing we can do. We don't do anything. Now obey the last order. Now we did." Are you getting it now? So the problem is that from the very bottom to the very top, everything don't scatter. But we can't just say God will help us. God will not help us. We ourselves will help ourselves. Well, if we had risen up against that Supreme Court judgment just like I think Venezuela did recently. Everything go down scatter. By now, we go down the fix them small. But Nigeria, I just don't know. We need to help ourselves. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. That's your opinion. I appreciate you and I respect your opinion. Promise. Let's go straight to the WhatsApp messages.
So WhatsApp and
then also visit the YouTube messages.
All right. HRBC will call. Good evening, Precious and Promise. It's so unfortunate that we have money for luxury lifestyles for our politicians, but don't have money to fix our refineries. To be honest with you, Dangote refinery is a private business, and I don't know why we are hoping that his private refinery will be our messiah. This is really, really worrisome. And for NLC president, he is nothing but going to be Emefiele part 2, whether he likes it or not. I wish him all the best. Oh, wow. And then this says, I agree to you, Ojo Ajira and his followers should not be threatening us with his intent. John from Iyanipaja said, the Ajero issue is a personal matter, not a concern for the masses. Any member of the Nigerian Labour Congress who attempts to politicize or magnify the Ajero issue, thereby destabilizing the already fragile economy, should be held accountable and face the consequences. Let's focus on addressing the pressing issues affecting the nation rather than allowing personal agendas to hijack the narrative and exacerbate the economic challenges we are facing. Ola from Chicago, I think, says, Precious and Promise, you all are beautiful. My regards to Prince Chilaka. Sorry, I don't know if I to Barrister Darlington. God bless you all. VOP, thank you. God bless you too.
All right, so go to YouTube now. You see Moscow says, Precious, you are making people okay. I'm making people lose interest. I shall let people say their minds. Any politician that took public funds is a what? Stop shielding these people. I'm not shielding them. I'm only doing my job. Uche from Ekwaja, appreciate you. Ajo really Lagos says, a leader that's the country did not have from the inception. You see how average Nigerians reason. The solution is referendum, whereby every nation forced together in Nigeria. Oh, wow. John Chuma says, Nigeria is just something else. From military regime to civilian regime, all in one pseudo pursuit of real democracy. Who they write us this kind of script, Seth?
Well, you know, like I keep saying, we don't seem to understand what democracy is all about. And those who claim to have fought for democracy has turned out to have fought for themselves and their pockets alone. Because democracy is about the people. Nigerian leaders has never been about the people.
Okay. All right, then moving on. Oh, let's see if we can take a few more calls and then we'll get back to those messages. Good evening to you. Good evening.
Hello, Precious.
Sir?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Mazi? Ogaranya, welcome, sir.
Happiness, how are you doing?
It's not happiness, it's promise.
I mean, promise. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Yes, you're welcome.
Prince Ginika, there is something I want to...
You're just
jamming on our names
this evening,
but it's okay, go ahead. His name is Prince Francis Chilaka.
Mispronouncing our names.
Okay, Mr. Amen. Prince Ginika, right?
Go ahead.
Prince Chinaka.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. You see, the situation of the country now is a laughing stock. It's not something someone will be getting heart attack again. But one thing I want to ask you, are you telling the youth for the election? Election cannot change anything in Nigeria the way it is. Do you think that the election can change anything?
I still believe that is the only way we can get it right. The election.
No. It's just like you deceive me to follow you to go to market and buy chewing-gum. Then I follow you to go to market. We went there, you leave the chewing-gum and buy biscuit. And tomorrow he asked me to follow you again that we are going to buy chewing-gum. Do you think I will follow you? If you cannot, if you have been deceived twice, it means that you are a fool.
In terms of governance, sir, whether you are deceived 10 times or 20 times, the only thing that you have with you that gives you power is your vote. Use it wisely.
No, it's not your vote there because the democracy, the rule of law is not functioning. Your vote count where I am here in Denmark. The vote count. You don't need to know the day they are doing the election, but your vote will count. So, but there, your vote does not count. That's why the impunity are giving them power to speak and behave the way they like. Here, if you pass a lawmaker in the road, you will never know that he's a lawmaker. Why are we talking? Is because right now, even if I'm not working, I will be earning no less than 1,400 euros every month. I am not up to 50. I am approaching 50. But the tax I have paid, I will be receiving no less than 1,400 euros for pension every month here. So why are we paying tax there? And people come out boldly and eat our tax. And you ask us to wait for election? No. It shouldn't be done in that way. I think it's wrong to encourage people for the election. Anyway, keep it up. God bless you all.
All right.
You know, people get getting things.
Thank you.
People get these things wrong.
What's that getting wrong?
Yeah, people need to understand that what gives you power is the vote.
Okay, all right.
And
Let's
people should use
let's
it
quickly
wisely.
jump on this call. Get back to that. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Hello, welcome.
ROP.
Yes, please. Good evening.
VOP Radio.
Very well. VOP, please.
Good evening.
Yes, welcome.
In the evening rush.
This is the evening rush. Welcome, sir.
From questions and so on.
Yes. What's your name, sir?
A question be taken or
What is your name, sir? and Where
It's
you come
like-
from? What is your name, sir?
program, I guess.
Oh yeah, it is a live program. I think the network is really bad. We can't hear you. Are you there? The network is bad. We can't hear you. What is your name? Where are you calling from? What's your contribution?
It's my name.
And you're calling from where?
I'm a phone.
Unfortunately, please try to call us back. The network is really very bad, and we can't hear you. Promise to go out. Gone.
All right, Mr. Paul from Ijibo says, "Good evening, madam in the house. I have already missed Miss Tomisino. Please, where is she? And this time around, if she is coming to your studio, let her wear black gown." And he's using laughing emoji. I don't know why. I don't know why you missed Tomisin. You want to give Tomisin some basbos? Hopefully she'll be coming soon. Nigerians should not give INEC no rest until Mahmoud is removed. Harry from Ogada. Okay, we're not talking about INEC anyway. Good evening, Priscilla and ladies. P&P. Insecurity in Nigeria has become multi-million dollars business. There is no sincerity of purpose from the government releasing funds and those saddled with disbursing these funds. General Buratai said it cannot end in 20 years, and he also got compensated with ambassadorial promotion. I just don't understand the way out. Simisola from Isolo. Okay. Your opinion. Good evening all. According to the AFCC, Bello has been declared wanted. So I hereby have a bounty of 1 billion naira for anyone who finds him and brings him to me alive. This is a cool wada wada. Oh Jesus. Chisco from your listeners. Chisco from Ijegun, Ijegamu, Jaga Jaga Road. Okay. And this says, good evening, all Prince. It's these same people in power, Mr. Tinubu, Buhari, etc., that told us subsidy was a scam. As soon as he came in power, okay, you said they said subsidy was scam before they came into power. Yes. Meanwhile, they are secretly paying that same fuel subsidy. You're not using quite pleasant words. If Tinubu is okay, you're saying Melekari will not be reappointed. Okay, they want to prosecute Joe Ajero the same way they are doing to Emefiele. The bread I bought 2,000 naira few days ago, I bought it 2,200 naira today, and the one for 1.5 is now 1,800 naira. He's talking about in the space of 2 days.
The inflation. I'm waiting to hear what the National Statistics of
National Bureau of Statistics will say.
Because things are going up.
But they said inflation came down it was less than 1%. It wasn't much. And this says, good evening, precious at all. No country moves forward when there is no accountability. The executive has emasculated the parliament and judiciary, both at state and federal levels. We are not serious at all. See why you didn't say where you said this.
Before I start talking, do the authorities in both the state and federal government, do they really listen to this voice of the people? Do they?
Yes, they do. Very well.
They do.
Very well, sir.
If they do, what surprises me is that when our president, president was campaigning for office, he boasted that he was going to recruit. In fact, I don't know whether he said 5 million soldiers.
5 million.
And later 5 million soldiers to make sure that they invade all the forests and restore security in Nigeria. But up till now, they've not done that. They talk about food security. How can there be food security when there's no security of life of those who would go to farm and get the food out? People are still in IDP camps. Nothing is being done to get them out. So please, what we're saying is that the Nigerian government, they should be careful so that Nigeria will not be regarded as a failed state. We need security so that the country can move forward. And then secondly, when they talk about this question of we take our government back, you cannot do much because the politicians have made use of the poverty in the land to divide Nigerians. I'm a Yoruba man, an Igbo man, a Hausa man. So that most of them would want to know if anybody has done anything wrong and you want to take him out, they will say, where does he come from? Who is doing it? That's my take. Let there be unity. Nigerians should come together and take a decision what to do to be able to get a government that cares for the people. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, promise. Let's head back to those messages.
Kenaichuku from Festa says, "Good evening. How can we get to our destination when so many things are going wrong in Nigeria? Double P. It's time we all move to our villa and vacate those guys out there. You're talking about the people." Who are in authorities in your various constituencies. That's very possible. Good evening, Precious, Promise, and Prince Chilaka. Promise asks if any government or governor's son have been in any deals before. Promise, Peter Osifo will call and tell you that Peter Obi's son has done the same. Just watch. Victor from Keno is saying this.
All right. Okay.
You have someone on the line?
I have a lot of people on the line, but let me just say, do a few justice to the YouTube messages. Peter Chika and Dubisi says, watching from Bremen, Germany. I love the station. We love you too. Emmanuel Lucy says, the one that helped Abacha launder money abroad is part of the minister. So they say. Horseman Kido says, good evening, Precious. Tinubu is practicing Owambe government. I don't understand you. A blessing Emiloko says, the government is for Tinubu and his family. Why did they did it in Lagos and they want to do it again in Nigeria? Oh wow. And then Emmanuel Law Singer Amadi says, Precious and Promise. Okay, I get you, but that's not true. Okay says, good evening, Precious, and all Nigerians in the country is still in ICU, intensive care units. Nigeria requires serious medicine instead of paracetamol. Emeka Weke says, the Nigerian government is making money from the insecurity. It's a big business for these individuals to continue enriching themselves. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it, but that would not be the truth. Fasadejo Kola Wale says, good evening, guys. Nigeria, I'm not going to say that. Okay, he said, this analysis is a good entertainer. I wanted terrorists accused the defense minister for sponsoring terrorism, and you want him to step aside because of the allegation made by a wanted criminal. Oh wow, really? But the same wanted criminal was banned during his administration as the governor of the state. I think that's the angle that the guest is coming from. Just so you know, were you aware that the same Yahaya Bello was banned? Given a chieftaincy title
by the same governor,
and then commissioners and executives of that administration, of the administration of the person whom he said is a minister now, attended that banning. It was read in the book. You can go and read it now. Thank you. I hope I've given you the time that you've been seeking for. Bill Phil Obi says, Mr. Kwabi and Mr. Tinubu challenging the wealth to family while your people are dying in poverty. Okay. And then John Chimwa says, Nigeria is just something else, from military regime to civilian regime. Okay, I think I've taken this message. Go back to your Promise.
All right, Chinere from Agbara said, Dangote refinery and other private refineries being completed have exposed all the falsehood of NNPC and IOCs about keeping a functional refinery. They can no longer deceive Nigerians that Nigeria cannot build its own refinery and maintain it because of the financial investment. Today, individuals are building refineries in the same Nigeria, and these people are sabotaging Nigeria. You think they're sabotaging the economy, and then coming out to fight the local refineries with different lies and excuses just because they want to continue to import petroleum product, thereby killing Nigerian economy and increasing unemployment, and they do not care. Well, this is your thoughts. And this says, Antonia Ugoji from Afro Media says, good evening everyone in the house. Ajero should just dance to the tunes. He called for it because he refused to stand with the people. As for our mandating returning to the right person via voting right won't be an easy task because many of us do not trust the process anymore. May the Lord bring out and cast our vote again. Our voters in Nigeria will not work. As far as Mahmoud Yakubu is the INEC chairman, Perpetual from Isheri Demo is saying this. And this is quite lengthy. I hope I'll be able to take it. Good evening, crew. Our APC spokeslady Lekon from Lagos. Like Obi said, if the foundation that brought you into power is not credible, you cannot be credible. For your president, he can't fight corruption. Can someone that's this is your grammar. Look at the people he packed together. Oh no.
All right. Hello, good evening. We'll have someone on the line. Hello, good evening to you. Apologies for keeping you waiting. Good evening.
Apologies, Axel.
You're
Joyful,
welcome,
jovial. Good evening.
Is there a way I can pretend that Precious will not spot me out? Good evening, Precious.
Oh,
welcome, Jova.
No matter how you keep the voice, I know you. Welcome.
The two of you reminds me of I should call you the square now, the triangle.
Let's leave the square because square have divided now. So I think which is maybe P cube. You have to look for something else.
That sounds better, right?
Else, so that will not come and have problem and legal tussle in future.
I will not be dragging.
Will not be dragging property. Ukuma don't have an elder sister that will come in between us, so it's okay.
I want to start with PQ.
Okay.
I just cannot but call when the Wise Prince is on the show. Wise Prince and Prince Killer.
I agree to my brother.
It's very important to have to call to greet the face. Precious.
Sir?
You see, all these things that you are reading, is relating my mental health to.
Sorry.
That's why when I call like this, I'll just be looking 2 minutes gone. Where do we want to start?
But you spent 2 minutes already now.
But it's remaining extra 2 minutes.
No, it's remaining extra 1.
No, let me just go to my which I have to say. Prince Chilaka, we will continue to cast our votes.
Thank you.
Even if the belief of the people is that their votes don't count. There are so many reasons why their votes don't count. If you look at what happened at the last election, you will end up believing that your vote don't count. But we'll continue to encourage, when the election is there, let us calm down, summon our courage, and still vote so that we can get it right. Can you imagine that immediately after this protest? I was just thinking, Precious, when you finish, how are you going to go? There's no fuel. Have you gotten fuel? It's as if they waited for the protest to expire, then they brought extra hardship on the people. And I think Nigerians, when they say that, it is what you get. You cannot order for another thing and get another thing except in the election. Some people say they order for something and not that. That's not what I am saying, actually, Precious. I'm saying that there's no fuel. And things are much more expensive. The last week, Precious, I'm going to tell you when I called this. We had I called you and I would go to the market and confirm that food items are dropping. I don't know if you did your own.
Yes, you said so.
I did my own. The only thing that came down a little with just 2,000 naira is tomato specials. Rice, yam, every other, are we going to be eating tomatoes? Every other thing in the market is still on the high side. So if anybody feels that it's none of my business, I need to support the people because they belong to my own clan or my own tribe. Continue. By the time people will say you get to the market, they will not ask you whether you are an Igbo man or outside of any tribe. They will sell the same rice you will buy to the person who is coming from Ghana. That's where we've gotten to. So I am always, when I listen, I get tired. But getting upset and not cure this thing. That's why sometimes I want to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
PQ.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night. Hello, good evening to you and welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, welcome.
I'm calling from Oshodi.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
I'm calling from Oshodi. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'm a first-time caller anyway.
Congratulations.
Actually, my contribution will just be just go like this. I will advise that all our be supporters that want the best for this country should even be thanking God that the result comes as the way it went. Because I believe if Peter Obi has the declared winner of the result, he will have been more frustrated than the way they are frustrated the president right now. Because
hello,
to us, I don't think this country belongs to us. I think it belongs to some certain people who decide how it should be run and what should be done. And imagine how well connected Tinubu is, and he still be frustrated like this. What do you think will happen to be if he became the president? That's just my contribution. I think God has exposed them all in a way that they didn't expect. That's just my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night too. Well done. Oh yeah, the messages. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Precious, and everyone in the house. It's like the political class have cast a spell on the citizens. Cause how do you explain this silence, despite all the wickedness being perpetrated by the ruling class? People are still quiet and silent. I'm moving on as usual. John from Lagos says, "Good evening, Precious. It's ridiculous and disheartening for trying to shield." Prince Chilaka from talking about the missing money from the recovered loot. Please, what's your interest in that matter? And also be reminded that your radio is globally listened. They're talking to you, Precious.
Yeah, and this says selective hearing.
This says, Precious, I thought you left the studio for promise only to hear you again. Please, you need to take a break, at least 4 to 6 months leave. Then when you would be lamenting, then the lamentation of Nigerians, when the lamentations of Nigerians end, never seem to be the answer as Nigerians continue to grumble in poverty and anguish while the politicians feast, fat drinking, dancing, and enjoying themselves at the mock of Nigerians. You mean when the Holy Book said the devil has come to steal, kill, and destroy? You think the politicians are doing that, and Nigerian citizens are victims and co-conspirators and enablers as their tragedy finished. He said quite a lot there. And this says, good evening, Precious. Can you imagine a man that his house is on fire has traveled to France? Madam Precious, I have not recovered from what I went through just to buy petrol with my own money. I moved around Lagos yesterday and couldn't buy because the queues were terrifying. But I had no choice but to go join them very early this morning, and I wasted a whole 7 hours just to buy petrol today. And it no go better for anybody, making life difficult for everybody in this country. It is Nena from Okafa that said it wasn't me. Okay, this is quite lengthy, but we'll try. The protesters have given enough time for our rulers to avert any looming strike in October, as happened in the NBAT governance protest, where enough time was given. Let the government start now to attend the few mass-orientate police as such as have. Okay, this is a lot. While Jajiro, whose arrest or persecution really translate to persecuting of labor movement. Tony Anele, you could be making your messages quite brief so that we can be taking a good evening, Precious, Promise, and Prince Chilaka. The biggest problem facing Nigeria is from the Ministry of Senate that have refused to checkmate. Okay, the Senate is not MD. Do appropriation, checkmate the presidency, do proper oversight functions. So Tinubu is like, okay, whatever he likes, and no one calls him to order. Almost all the ministers in his government has one baggage or the other, and they cannot be questioned or removed because that's the ideology of the person that appointed them. You say the insecurity, corruption, looting, lawlessness, you said a lot going on in this country. Do not bother the ruling class. All they care about are those things that benefit them. All right, TC from Ojo said this. This says, good evening, Precious and Promise and Prince. I greet you specially. You see this Tinubu and Sons, Chagoury and Sons relationship is enough for the president to be okay. You said in Senate claims the president was going to, make a statement and give some answers to that. How can one family have so much baggage for Nigerians? Okay, Calabar Coastal Highway, Malta Refinery, Eco Atlantic, and so many businesses which the sources of how they got this till date cannot be accounted for. This is too much embarrassment for the country. According to you, what's your name again? Let's see. Michael from Powerline said this. Good evening, PMP. Someone that did not promise you anything, you feel if you're crying, the person will listen to you. All this cry for impunity in the country is just a waste of time. We are all in the jungle called, how can you say Nigeria is a jungle? You guys should be coming down. What a nation with a renewed hope. Passy from Ijegun. Precious Promise and Prince, good evening. Please, why is it that whenever any serious issues comes up, Yahaya Bello case will be used to distract the people? The presidential jet should be the main issue on board, but Nigerians are hungry and presidents went to buy jets. We are not toys, we are humans treated as if we are animals, and we must say no to this. Michael from Surulere. And we are sure that we will not wake up one morning only to hear that Nigeria has been sold out by... Oh, come on now. How can people sell the whole country? CJ, Chinenyenwa, or Nwa Chineke. People can't sell, nobody can sell a country. Good evening, Precious and Promise. If Dangote paid $100 million for the land he acquired for his refinery, few weeks later, Tinubu bought a jet of the same $100 million. Are you feeling the chemistry? Your name is Global from Agokala.
Hi, God, Nigerians, you
guys
stop.
are funny. But that was a long time ago now. And this says, good evening, VOP. On the issue of Yahaya Bello, just like former governor Osho said, just be part of, Oshomole said, just be part of the party and your sins are forgiven. Let the DSS take cock to Yahaya Bello to beg him to come and show his face in the office. Okay. All right. This says, good evening, House. Please, we don't need to worry because President did not promise us anything at all. Arado Angel from Okowonjo. I hope I spelled that correctly. Good woman leader, please, they're calling you. Please, Ajero and his group should not use strike to threaten us. He and his group betrayed us. Let us face the government. Why do you people think Ajero betrayed you? Labor NLC is a labor union.
The labor union is meant to fight for the rights of not only those that are working, but they're meant to fight for the rights of the Nigerian people.
Okay. So let's go back to the messages. Shegun says, good evening, Precious. Well done. The local government finance autonomy will heavily backfire against Tinubu. He has ignorantly plotted. Oh, you think it's going to backfire? The governors will ferociously fight back. Makinde of your state is already doing that. It will surprise you that Tinubu will not have his way. His moves is genuine but political, like you said. Okay, some people have that same thoughts. Joe Ajero is the weakest NSC president ever manufactured in this country. Now, wow, you people who go from Alimoshu, his small size and small voice are also disadvantages to him. The president played him like a hooky ball and he always lost every time the game was played. He should lick his wounds in peace. He forgot that it was the strong opposition meted against Obasanjo administration that paved the way for him to become governor of Edo State. So that was Oshomole when he was NLC president. Good evening, ladies, PMP and Prince Chilaka. The impunity in the country is increasing geometrically. If we don't stop it now, we may not have a country soon. Have a good night. Oko Sisi from Surulere is saying this. I'm trying to, get all the message as much as I can.
As much as I can. It's almost our time is almost up, so I need Prince Francis to give his parting shot. So we leave.
Mr. President was going to, is it Equatorial Guinea?
Yeah.
And he rode in his new Escalade.
That was the first time we saw it.
That cost about averagely 1.5 billion naira.
Oh, well, some people say it's about 700
and then
million.
900 to 1.5
$700,000.
And he was going to France. He rode in a new
presidential jet that has a bathroom and suite.
Yet,
it has bathroom.
Nigerians
cannot
afford 3 square meal a day. Nigerians are out there in the cold, hungry, and we say we have a leader. We do not have
leaders,
a leader.
Please, sir.
What we have are rulers, emperors. Because a leader is meant to care for the people, to shelter the people, to provide for the people. what the president has displayed is nothing short of calling the bluff of the Nigerian people. If you all like, jump into the lagoon. I will continue to do things the way I want. But Mr. President needs to realize this, that in as much as he believes in Emileko as the spirit driving his presidency, the Nigerian people also believe in the fact that sovereignty belongs to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prince Francis Chilaka. Are you on social media? Can they follow you like the village people?
Yeah, I'm on social media.
Okay.
Prince Francis Chilaka on Facebook, Twitter,
okay,
and YouTube.
Okay, Prince Francis Chilaka. Okay. Able producer.
My name is Promise, and Instagram, I'm Promising Official. On other social media platforms, I am just Promise Aim. I don't want to dig further about this private jet and the whole issues of Nigeria. Anyway, I would have said that the new private jet that was bought is 15 years. The one we used before is about 19 or 20.
And the one the American president is using is
30
34
years. It's 34
34 years.
years
Sheikh
now.
Sani will tell you that the price of the American presidential jet is about $4 billion.
And the German chancellor
So it's
doesn't
not the
even
same
have a
thing.
jet. So the thing doesn't mean that I would have asked if it means that in the next 4 years, perhaps this president
now
goes
buy
for a
another
second
one.
tenure.
He
He's
buys
going to
another
buy
one.
another one.
Exactly.
Anyway, Nigerians will have that to answer. But whatever you do, always, make sure you protect your mental health, people. Have a good night. Precious.
So me, I'll still leave it in that protecting your mental health. But I would rather not appeal, but to talk to Nigerians. So perhaps ask Nigerians to use their tongue to count their teeth. So that next time, if they're dividing you in tribal, ethnic, and religious lines, you'll be asking yourself, is it about my brother, sister, uncle, relative being in power? Or is it about our collective welfare? That's just where I'm going to leave it. I love you guys. Please ensure you protect your mental health, as I like to always say. My name is Precious Aim. I'll see you again tomorrow evening, hopefully with Dr. DJ. Good night.